Okay, welcome back to the next video. We are starting the 9:30 a.m. turn, and this is going to be a pretty exciting turn because the orders are now starting to be, there's some minimal order giving, which is some people are teasing me about calling it the meat and potatoes of this game system, but that's what it is. It's the main core of this system, is the written orders, and then your officers having to follow those orders. So this turn, the Union Commander Reynolds can give an order, and we'll read the rules for that on the Union turn. So just as a reminder, Mr. Jeff, if you're watching, you should probably not watch in case I talk about the Union order when that comes up. Jeff is playing the Confederates. And just to remind those watching what I'm doing is I have two separate players. They are playing the overall commanders by giving me orders for both sides, and then I act out those orders to the best of my ability and follow those orders to the letter, right? No deviation. I will use personal initiative if it's reasonable for me to want to do that to try to protect it. But as you know, based on the rules, you can't just change objectives and stuff with initiative. It's basically to keep you from getting flanked, or if you're in column, to get out of column and deploy and all that good stuff. So it's fairly limited, but that's fine. But I'm pretty excited. So we're entering the Recon and Force phase of the Confederate turn. So I'm going to read what that is just so people are aware of it. The turn Heath units move east of the Hare Ridge Road. Recon and Force automatically begins. So they had to be deployed on the Hare Ridge Road right here. So if we hide them, you can see the road, right? And both are in line all across that road. So they have fulfilled that obligation. There's following exceptions when they do this. There are no fluke stoppages. Only Archer and Davis brigades can attack. And there is no need to conduct attack recovery because there's not going to be any fluke stoppages. No other orders are allowed during this period. So if the situation changes tactically, they can't start giving other orders. And if you remember, let's see, Pettigrew and Brockenbrough have to basically get into formation back here, and then they can move no more than 4 hexes east once they've deployed here. Then they can fan out and basically be not a reserve as far as the actual gameplay rules, but they would be a reserve. So if things went bad and Archer and if Heath's Archer and Davis brigades started running back, they could at least stop the Union from destroying it. Let's see. During Recon and Force, Heath marks the center of his command radius, must remain directly on the Chambersburg Pike, which is what he's already doing. Recon and Force ends at 12:15 p.m. If any Union unit moves west of row 2022, so like right in here, I think it is, so they'd have to move past this roughly right in here, anywhere west of that, which they won't do. Or if the Confederate player calls off the attack as per line of battle rules 10.7a, meaning that it's futile, they don't have enough regiments to attack. Maybe they got 2 regiments that aren't shattered and the Union has a whole brigade up there, you can call it off because it would just be a suicide charge. Okay. So that's the end of that. I won't get into the Union stuff till the Union turn. We'll see how long this takes. I am taking my time. It's only been 4 minutes. I'm taking my time. I'm trying to make sure I get all the rules. So any of you veteran players, if you're playing and I missed anything, please let me know. And if I have to stop and look up rules and it gets to be a long pause, I will I'll edit it out. But for now, I'm gonna mute my phone. For now, I'm gonna try to look up rules if I can do it quickly and keep things rolling. So let's do the Confederate turn. I've been excited all day to do this. I was hoping to do it earlier, but had things come up. So I'm just excited because now we're getting written orders. So now it's not so scripted. And it's just going to keep getting more interesting and more interesting. So, command phase. We don't have to worry about that. The orders have already been given in Recon and Force, and they have to attack down the pike, the Chambersburg Pike. There's no attack, recovery, or fluke stoppage. The objective for the Confederacy technically is they want to capture any length of this road right here. And I think I've heard people refer to this as Lee Lane or something like that. If they can capture this, it unlocks. They don't have to capture the whole thing. I think they only have to take one hex. But we'll look it up if it gets close to that. But it sounds like it's really difficult for that to happen. But if they do that, that unlocks a bunch of possibilities for the Confederacy, which is going to help them later in the game. If they don't, then you just keep playing along as normal. So that's the goal of the Cav here. Okay, so we basically know there's no command phase to do, so we're going to go right to movement and combat. Now, before I forget, I am going to just roll for Davis's brigade first because I'm going to start moving him. So let's see if they have it on a chart so I can show you. Yeah, the 0 rule. Roll 1 die for each such brigade each turn, which is following attack orders. So on a roll of 1, you have no movement allowance. 2 through 3, you have half rounded up. And 4 to 6, you got full movement. So here's the movement roll for Davis. Oh my goodness, he gets a 1. That is so disappointing. That is so typical. I'm so excited, and now he has to basically sit there like a clown. And those delays by the Iron Brigade probably aren't going to matter if he's going to be an idiot. Okay. Now, here's the interesting part of the game. I can drag my feet a little bit with Archer, but I have to move forward. Regardless of what he does, I have to attack, right? So I can't just say, all right, well, Archer's going to sit there and keep the line. He has orders to take this area right here. So he's going to march out. Now, like I said, if I get a full move out and he still hasn't moved, I can drag my feet and move up and start shooting. It doesn't say that I have to barrel down the road full steam ahead, but at the same point, if I dawdle too long, we're not going to have a chance at all. Archer is it's not a great brigade. I mean, they got some decent ratings, but they're just so small. So, okay, let's start with this guy. Let's get the movement terrain out. So that's going to be a 1 slope. And then I forget. I don't think if these little slope lines affect movement. I think it's a dark one. So it's only going to be it's a +2 to go over a 0 to 2 slope lines. But how would you move a 0? All right. Anyway, so this will cost us 2. So we'll go, and then it looks like all the open stuff. Orchards aren't anything extra. The only time you pay the extra woods movement is if you're crossing this line, and that's going to be a +1. And so we're good there. So that should be pretty easy. So let's go ahead. So this is going to be a 2, 3, 4, 5. The ridge doesn't do anything. 6. All right. So he's not a bad sized, an R5. So let's move this guy. He's going to go 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I want to see where these guys end up. Now, he doesn't have to move with this guy, but let's go 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And remember, he didn't cross these hex sides, and that's what adds the +1. Now I got to decide. It would be 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, or 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So I can pop them here or here, basically. I'm going to go here. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I should make sure the ridge. Oh, there's nothing about ridge lines. See nothing. All right, I just want to make sure. Is that right? And then Archer's got 12 movement. He's going to be just fine. We'll just move him to here. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. It's 8 hexes to Archer. He can go. So he's going to stay back here for now because he's wondering what Davis is doing as he sees Archer launch off for 15 minutes and start walking, and Davis does nothing. He should go over there and threaten a court-martial or something. So that's it with these guys. Now, just so that I don't forget, I'm going to mark these guys moved. Oops. I just took the move off, I think. Yes, it did. All right. Normally, you can just click on that and it'll mark everybody moved, but this is not moved. Oh, you can do this. Then right-click moved. Mark move. That's what I want to do. And then mark these guys. Because that'll help me. Let's say I'm playing a bigger game. It's just building good habits, right? I'm playing a bigger game. I do a shorter file, and I got to come back later and do it later, and I sit back down, 2 days later, and I'm going to start up again. And did I move these or didn't I? Oh, and by the way, got me some Oreo vanilla cookies for tonight to enjoy. I got 4 of them. Okay, so let's go back to artillery. That was so disappointing he didn't. Even if he didn't move half, I'd have been jacked. But I rolled a 1. So we got a problem with these guys being able to fire. There's no rule. The only rule says that these guys can't move more than 4 east of that. It doesn't say these guys are supposed to deploy. So I think as long as they stay within range of him, which would be 1, 2, 3, 4, and Pegram also gives 4, right? Because he has to be to the HQ. I think that's right. Hopefully I'm not better read on that. Maybe they have to stay within 4 of the HQ, but with the leader, I would think maybe he would extend that. I don't know. Maybe I'm abusing that already. So we got 5 here. So let's check out that range. 5 firing to here is 15, which I think is the 3. 14 to 15 is 3 of the left, so that'd be 1, 2, 3. So we need a 10, 11, or a 12. So we are going to fire these guys. Oh, I get a 4, so nothing happens. These guys are a whopping 3, so I don't even know if they move up. If they start here, it would go 1, 2, 3. They could still hit on an 11 or a 12. If I move them there, is that within 15? Because if it's 16, that's a deal breaker. No, that's 15. The shaken doesn't do anything other than it's like a little bit better morale. So if you're going to get into hand-to-hand, that'd be bad. Well, we might as well fire because we got to do something. So we're going to move up here, and I think that was a total of 4. Oh. We better check that. Because that line for limbered artillery is 3, and it's 4 to go in the hex. We have 10 movement. So now if we unlimber, that puts us at 7. That's more than half. So that's all they can do then is unlimber. I mean, we could move down the road more, but I don't know what the reason would be. And then they can't fire. This is not going well. A pretty lackluster attack. So now I got to figure out what I want to do with this battery, these 2 batteries right here. Because the one guy can only fire 10. So they're basically going to be inefficient. I guess I could go combine them with this stack over here for later. So I could actually fire with 2, 3, 4, 5. Trying to think of what to do with them. All right, so we're going to limber up. So that costs 3, 4.5 to move over here. Unlimber again would be 7.5. I could just move on here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That little howitzer gun does nothing. All right, so they limbered up for 3, 4, 5 to move here, and then a total of 8 to unlimber again. So they can't shoot. We got all of Peagram's guys over there. Put the howitzers on top. And we're fine with stacking because that's only 2, 4, 5, 6, 7 out of 16 strength points. But they can't fire. Those guys will come unshaken. Peagram's there. Okay, so we're good to go. So we have this over here. I'm just going to move Pettigrew back. I don't want to do that. While I do all this movement, because he's going to end up back here. Remember, we can deploy between here and I think it was here. Let me just check that real quick. Of course, it's the bottom out of 6 booklets. Okay, in 1916, I'm looking for that number. Where's that number? Oh, what am I looking under the Union one for? Duh. These are Confederates, man. In 1816, so where's that at? Right here. So I guess they can deploy on this road, too. Oh, and you know what else I better do before I forget? Because I have a tendency to forget. What are the 930 reinforcements? Let's put them bad boys on here. Let's grab them real quick. So 3rd Corps, Pender's unit, McGraw, and then it's a misprint because it says Pender again, but I'm pretty sure it's Perrin. So we got Pender, who's got pretty good rating. Perrin. Then we got his brigade. Oh, it's -1. Minus the 1st South Carolina Rifles. So we don't get to bring that. But we do get a couple sharpshooters here. Doesn't say they're not included. And then McGraw's battery, I think it is. I'm a little unsure of that entry because it says Pender MCGW/Pender Brigade minus 1st South Carolina. So there is no Pender Brigade. Pender's it is his brigade, I guess, but it would be his division. He's a division leader. It's Perrin's brigade under Pender. Pender is not a brigadier. He's a division leader. Because then later it's Scales, Lane, and Thomas, and there is no other thing talking about McGraw's battery or Pender. So I'm going to go with that. That's my understanding. So there's the reinforcements coming in on A. So now we got to bring these guys up. So I don't have to worry about the 8 movement point because I'm going to be coming out of column. So 1, everybody moves 1. So this would all be 1. 2, 3, 4. And when you're in column, you can move in, you can face any way you want. So he would end up facing this way on 4. And then he's going to change trying to find a fast way to do it. He's going to change for his 5th movement point into line. That's a big old R12. That is a big boy. Okay, so 1, 2, 3, 4. And then he would end this way when he's done. And so these guys moved 4 to here, right? Just saying if there's an easier way to do this. 4, and then you have to walk this stuff up, right? So 5, 6, right? So I guess technically, when you're not on a road, you don't have to have the road column, so we'll use the 7. But since we use 7, we have to stay in column. I use the 7th one to move him up and get him out of the way, but I can't use the 8th one to go into line, because if I go into line, I can only have spent 6. So we can do that, because it does say you can be in column and you don't have to have your extended columns, but you do have to walk them back into the formation if you're not on a road, right? So like if we start cutting across here with the Iron Brigade, they don't have to leave the tail out the whole time. They can start walking that back in. So let's do this guy right here. So 1.5, 2, 3, 4, 5.5. So none of these guys are going to be, oh yeah, they can, because remember I have 8 if I don't go into 5.5. So it'd be 6.5, 7.5, and we got to leave this little tail out right here. We'll get rid of these extra. We'll rotate him that way. So he's basically a little bit of a fishhook shape there. Okay, so now it's going to start backing everybody up there. So it takes a little while to get out of column. So 1, 2, 3.5, 4.5, 5.5. Right? 5.5, 6.5, 7.5. And even if I would have had enough movement points, I can't go out of column because I used more than 6. And I'll quit repeating that for you now. He doesn't have to roll for the movement, because when you're in a move order, you don't roll. It's only when you're in an attack order. 1, 2, 3, 4.5, 5.5. Oh, that wouldn't be, he'd be there. So 5.5, 6.5, 7.5. So same thing. He can pull the ranks in, but he stays in column. And then we got Brockenbrough. One, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6.5. He's going to have to stop there because he can't. He's not. I don't think he can stack other units from another brigade. I'm not sure on that. But with my OCD, I'm not going to allow that to happen. So we'll just move all these guys down. And they, since they're on the road, now let's say these guys weren't on a road, I could have used the extra movement points they weren't using to pull in their column. But if they're on a road, it has to stay in the column. All right, so they're all done. This is all done. This is done. This is done. So all I got left is to bring in the reinforcements. I'm not real fired up about this extra battery coming. Well, you know what? I should get it up there because I'm probably going to need all the help I can get. Although, depending on the deployment rules, they can only support so long. It's not like they're going to be able to limber up, come running up here and undeploy. Furthest I can pretty much shoot is here. We'll just, whatever. Just kind of thinking out loud, trying to figure out what to do with these guys. That's a 5-point battery too, so he's going to have a... So 1, 2, 3, 4. Let's see. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I'll put the battery out front. And then because he's a battery, it's every 4. So he'll need 1 for that extra point. Oh, let's see. What do I want to put here? Oh, that's right. I got to pay attention. We got muskets now, too, not just rifles. So 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And I know I got to flip them. 3, 4, 5, 6. You'll have to stop there because all right, so the rest of these will be able to move out minus the tail. So he's going to need for every 3, so 3, 6, 9. So put those there. 3, 6, and 2. So big long column. Probably won't get everybody on the board. Pretty good ratings though with A's, right? He's going to have 1 just for that extra little 7, which I guess I'm not complaining. I'd rather have the strength points than not. Let's put this guy here. Same thing. He'll have 2 columns back here. And then I'm just going to put these guys here. We'll put Pender at the head of the column with Perrin. And let's flip this dude. Turn these dudes. And then let's flip these 3. All right, so they're in column. These guys are off the board, but I'm going to leave them here for now. We'll know they're off there. Wish they had a little bit of a border here. It'd be nice. But that's okay. I am not complaining. This module is so cool, whoever did this. All right, so that's the Confederates. That's 27 minutes. I think I'm going to try to do the Union. I'm not going to lie to you. That was a big disappointment that Davis didn't move. But I like the chaos, but I don't like the fact that I thought, he'd be able to slink down this road and we'd start getting some action here pretty soon. Okay, so let's finish it up. Rally phase, so we can do that. So we can take off all the move markers now. And then we can remove fired and remove rally before we would do routed units because I don't think it takes the routed. So now you can see all the shaking are gone off of there. So it looks a little nicer, but we'll see what happens. That's it. Okay, now, Jeff, if you're watching, you really can't watch anymore. Not on this video. Here is the Union folder. So, July 1st. Let's read the rule first. Just to make sure we're following the rule. Make sure we're not missing anything. So, Reynolds is unable to issue any orders until 9:30 a.m. When he does so, he'll be the acting Army commander with on-fire awareness. His first order, however, is automatic to Wadsworth Division at 9:30 a.m. The player merely jots down the desired instructions, and it is implemented for that turn. Reynolds' automatic order cannot contain instructions to attack further west than Willoughby Run. Reynolds' movement to the front is abstracted, handled by the order of arrival. This is merely for its informational value. If desired, the player can leave him with the troops. You remember he's moving around kind of magically, popping around here, showing up down here, and he's talking to Wadsworth there. So we'll get these guys back with their commands now. So because we have Cutler's Brigade moving up, and Iron Brigade finally broke camp last turn, and they're coming up. And this one has to get in right behind this one right here. Is that true? No, right behind the 24th Michigan, I think it was. Okay, so, but now these, when the column starts here, they got the double quick rule. And that's only for certain units, but these guys qualify. Just so there's no confusion, double quick does not apply to Buford's cavalry, Mr. Burns, or other reinforcements. They all move normally. So we can use the 1st Corps HQ 1-1 Division, but not the 7th Indiana. This 2-1 Division, Hall's Battery, and the 2-3-1 only, not 1-3-1 or Raleigh. To use double quick, Reynolds must have issued the automatic order, which he did, because I'll have it right here. And the road column head must be at or north of the peach orchard, which is, and they give the hex S9.28, so they have to be right here or north of it. So his whole column can move at the double or double quick. These guys can only move normal until they hit this, and then at the beginning, the next turn that they start here or after, they can start moving double quick. When double quick can be used, the following apply. The special movement rates are in hexes, not movement points, and road train costs do not increase or decrease speed. So it's always hex count. If going through town, which we're not going to have to worry about because the order I got I know doesn't go through town, so good for him because that sounds like it's a pain. The column cannot divert off the road off of Emmitsburg Road south of N6135, which is right there. Right about where those, so they can't veer off here and like we couldn't just start heading north here. We have to get here first and then go north. And just a couple more quick things. While using double quick, units move double their movement allowed in hexes, not movement points. No unit can use double quick to move into a hex adjacent to an enemy. No unit can change out of column or limbered formation before having ended double quick. Units can use their hexes of movement to collapse their road column. When doing double quick, merely move the head of the column a little slower. So we could do that if we wanted to, but I think we'll start moving it up as soon as we can. Now, here's the orders I got. And I think I'm going to ask Clay, who gave me the orders, and he didn't do anything wrong here. I asked him to be very specific. But I think I'm going to ask him to give me, instead of hex sides, because that seems so clinical, I'm going to have him give me locations on the map, like West McPherson Ridge or Herbst Wood, if he wants me to line up with that or, defend that or whatever, and then have it be a little less clinical. Which, again, he didn't do anything wrong. I told him to be very specific, and the rules do say you can give specific hex numbers. I just found in the spirit of the game that seems to be a little too clinical for me. I know I'm using that word a lot. I seem to like that word. But let's read the order. And Jeff, you better not be watching. It's a move order, so they got to stay in column. 1st Corps up Emmitsburg Road to N4842 in double time movement. Split the Corps up into 2 to take up a defensive position along the Fairfield Road and East McPherson Ridge. So Fairfield Road is here, and East McPherson Ridge. Okay. Now he gave me more. Oh, did I close it? I did. I closed it. Hold on. Okay. So here's what the subordinate command. Now, normally you'd have to roll to see if they do this, but remember, because of the timing in the game, and this could totally wreck the Union if they didn't get orders right away. So here's what he did. Cutler's Division. After the jump-off point, let's look where N4842 is. Okay, and I think just for convenience, so I don't have to keep looking up that number, I'm going to use these markers here, and I'm just going to put a little X there. So N4842, so we know that's well past this spot where we couldn't, so he's not giving me an order that's illegal for this scenario. After jump-off point, 4842 march units up to hex N3633. and deploy into a defensive position along East McPherson Ridge between N2929 and N2630. So let's go look at that. So N3633. Just so we get, I'm just going to mark this temporarily. And then I'm going to take him off because I just kind of want to see where he's sending me. So N3633. Am I reading that right? March units up to N3633 and deploy into defensive position along East McPherson Ridge between 2929. Oh, I see what he's doing. So he wants me to march up to there and then from here go into line into 2630. And then he wants me to go to here and then move in an attack order, deploy, which means you go into line and then get up here and defend this ridge. Okay, well, that's interesting. The next order is that guy is going to move to 4133. So here. So this would be the Iron Brigade, right? Meredith. And then N3926. To N3228. But they got a big spot. So they're going to go here, and then he wants me to deploy them up. So on this ridge, and then this ridge. So he's protecting this objective, and these are the spots he wants me to go to. Now I'm going to delete these because I don't want the unsightly X's on here. And I'm also going to delete these because we're not going to get anywhere near there. I also don't want those as reminders when I do the Confederate turn of what's going on. Not that I don't know what's going on, but trust me, I get lost in the details and I'll confuse myself with my own fog of war. But that's interesting. So, all right, I thought he would have, done more historically and put guys north of the road, but he's just going to kind of straddle this road a little bit and defend further to the south. We'll see if he changes those orders. I'm having some cookie. All right, well, we're just going to have Reynolds and Wadsworth pick up with these dudes when they get up there. Essentially, these guys are using road movement because a road is half, but once we start to cut across, they won't be, but they'll still get to move 12 hexes. So that, oh, wait a minute, they're in column, so they get to move 16 hexes. I'm going to make sure it's there. 1, 2, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. So they move 2 past. And we're going to put these guys up here because they're going to stay at the head of the column. Okay. I don't know why I keep forgetting to use the other turn. But we can grab all of these. And they're going to go right there. And again, sorry, a little OCD thing going on here. Because it doesn't really say, like, Reynolds doesn't have to go anywhere else. It doesn't really benefit me, I don't think, to get Reynolds up here. So he's going to stay with the troops, right? So let's get all these guys shifted back onto the road. I just love Gettysburg games because I love to see how the mechanics are working and how the troops are flowing in, where they're coming from, all that good gravy. Okay, so these guys moved, and I can't remember the spot, but it's coming up here pretty soon. It's right here. I marked it with an X still. We'll leave that X there. So when I get to that X, then I get to start cutting straight across towards here, and I think it was over here somewhere, and then deploy. So it's gonna be fun to see the timing on this. And of course, with this idjit, there ain't gonna be any timing. He just totally lost initiative there. But that's awesome. That's what makes it so fun. All right, so let's see. We need to grab, and he gets in line after the 24th Michigan, if I remember right. And these guys will do the same. They're going to move 16. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So it's because the road's half movement points. These guys are not doing double time movement yet because they got to get up to the peach orchard to do that right here. But it just so happens it ends up being the same as these guys. But now remember, when they cut across land, they're going to still get to move 16 hexes. So this unit jumps in line behind them, it says. So they kind of cut in line there. And did the right one that time. And then this, who is this? The 6th Wisconsin. They get to jump in at the back here. Bonk. All right. I don't think there's any reinforcements. I should look, but I'm 90% sure. But 9:30 a.m. No, we'd just be rolling for the Iron Brigade if they still hadn't released. Okay, so I'm going to zoom back in up here for the combat part of it because I got some thinking I need to do. Okay? And the reason I say that is because I don't know how to handle this cavalry, but I can't just let them run up and hit me because I won't have any buffer here, really. But I don't, what I'm thinking is now the artillery can shoot at me, so there's a risk of that. But I'm thinking with these guys, my understanding of the rule is if you move, and if I'm not within 4 and they have to move and then fire at me, that I can react and move away. Which is what I want to do. Because these are open order troops, they're cavalry. They also only have a fire strength of 3 when they fire out of their hex. These guys, you can fire 8 strength points out, but open order troops can only fire 3. Now, that being said, there's no reason for me to get out here and, well, you know what? I want to get out on this ridge because I was thinking earlier if they'd have moved 6, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, that puts them there. And then if I came over this ridge, they could just shoot at me. But if I come up here and they move 3 and decide to shoot at me, or if they move to try to melee me, I can react and run away. So that's the hope, right? That's my understanding. What I'm worried about, though, is if this artillery starts to pepper me, and I also can't move past Willoughby Run, which is fine. I don't need to get past Willoughby Run. So that's what I'm thinking I'm going to do as the cavalry commander. And we got John Burns over here that can help give some morale benefits. Because if they suffer a morale check and lose anything, that doesn't go against their number. So let's get this out for terrain. Open order is the same as column, so a woods hexite has no effect. Huh. Interesting. And it's only 1 for the slope. So this would only be a 2, 4. All right, so let me think about this. I don't want to get within 4 because then they could just stand there and fire at me, although that would be a pretty long shot. But they can move up to half their movement and still fire at me, and then if they move, I can react. So 1, 2, 3. So I don't want to get out on this tip. But if I come across this, I'm going to be out in the open for artillery. And these guys are only a C-rated morale. I thought they'd be better than that. Gosh, I'm not sure what to do here. So I'm just thinking out loud a little bit. I think we're going to go 2-4 to here because I can't be seen because of this line right here. I hope that's not a bad move. We got artillery here. We got some cav here. If I go there, now for movement, it only matters if you go across the green hex side. For line of sight, if it goes into the hex with any woods and crosses the woods, then it doesn't have to cross a green hex side. It just has to go into the woods. I'm trying to think of what to do here if I want to move this 8th Illinois up here and get into this woods to try to... Well, that doesn't do me much good, though, because I'm sure you guys are going, come on, being a chicken, get up there and whoop on them. But I don't understand how they work yet. I haven't played with them before. I don't think there's any reason to risk these dudes. You know, as soon as a Confederate, as soon as I can see a cavalry, I'm going to start shooting at it because I want them to leave. I think I'm just going to, let's see. Is that fine? Yeah, because 1, 2, 3, 4. I got to be within 6 hexes. Gosh. Let's see. I can always check stuff. Let's go. When they start getting up over in here, though, they're going to be out of command range. I was thinking I could shift these guys up here and cause a problem, but I got to be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So 15, 30 is where I could go, right? I'm gonna move these guys. So we're gonna keep Devin with him, and it's gotta be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. He's gonna go 1, 2, 3, 4. He's gonna go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. He's gonna go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Now they can move 8, I believe, right? Yeah, open order column. They all move 8. So they can move more, but that's plenty. I didn't get with, they have to move to be able to shoot me. 1, 2, let's double check, make sure it's 8. Is it 8? I'm pretty sure it is. Yeah, division command is 8, brigade is 6, artillery battalions are 4. I'll do some reading on this Pegram thing because I thought that he could extend it. You know, Pegram can move around. But I'm wondering if you got to be within 4 of the HQ that's bolted down. If that's the case, I got to shift these guys over. Although, technically, artillery can be placed, so Pegram could have placed them there, right? So I'll do some reading on that. So I don't want to get sloppy. And then we got some artillery here, so we got to fire off a round because that's been going brilliantly. Now we only have 3 because this first gun here, which you can't see me pointing at it, I don't know why I'm pointing at it, because if I move the mouse off, it's going to go away. But that first gun, Lieutenant Roeder, that one is out of shot and shell. It still has canister. So that leaves us First Sergeant Newman and Sergeant Purgle. That's 3. So let's see. If the chart's 3, so it's going to start here. I mean, 11, 12, and I'll probably run out if I get a good result. Oh, you know what though? We got dudes coming. So I got to see if I can maybe see these dudes. So it's not same hill because this dips down and goes up. So the same hill rule doesn't count. Which means I would have to figure out, let's figure out using that chart. Now this is probably going to be painful to watch. Because that chart, it's to me, I watched this guy named Nick does some videos and those were good. But I haven't watched it for so long, I don't remember. Where the heck is it? There it is. Not 100% on it. So in any case, where the obstacle's height is greater than the higher endpoint, the line of sight is automatically blocked. So let's go look and see. So here I'm sitting on this. So this would be, let's call this level 1. So level 2, 3, and then he's on a ridge, so that's a 4. This is also a 4. It's right here. So his ridge is the same height as this. So we'll see if that matters. Probably I'm going to end up pausing this one and editing it and adding it later. or doing it at the beginning of the next turn. For ranges 5 or more, use the slope table. Find the differential in level between the high and low end points on the left column, cross index with the total range. So the other one said that the height would have to be greater for it to automatically. So let's figure out the slope, all right? So the difference is, we'll say this one's 1, right, that he's on. Or if I'm trying to shoot at him, we'll say that's a 1. Then we jump to this as a 2. And then this lighter tan is a 3, and then he's up here as a 4. So it's a 4 to 1, so it's a height difference of 3, right? So we have a height difference of 3. I so apologize you have to go through this. For any obstacle, use the obstacle's modified level minus the lower endpoint level. And cross index with the distance from the lower endpoint to the obstacle's hex to determine obstacle slope. So the obstacle would be, and we got to look here because we can fire from anywhere in this hex, right? But it's not going to matter if we fire from here to here. Well, we could avoid that one because you can see from anywhere and fire it anywhere. Oh, he would have to be up on this little sliver, though. That's going to get us right there. You have to fire at him up here. So he's actually considered to be on this. So the difference is actually only 2. Because this was 2, 2, 3, and then the ridge makes it a 4. So it's only a difference of 2. Okay, so for the obstacle, use the obstacle's modified level minus the lower endpoints level. So this obstacle here is the same, so it's a 2. If the obstacle slope is greater than the overall slope, the obstacle the range to the lower end. Okay, so if it's blocking here, it'd be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So range is 6. Difference is 2. The obstacle height would have to be a 3. And the obstacle height is a 4. So if it's more than that, I think it blocks it. Yes. So that one's blocked. How about if we fire at this guy? So we could fire from here, and we could fire anywhere on this area here, but then it doesn't cross that, and then we're good, because it has to be greater, and it's only going over this brown, which is technically 3, so we're good. So we could fire at that infantry coming, and say the heck with the guns. So that wasn't, okay, I was expecting that to be a lot worse with me trying to figure that out. So I'm going to just put that there and decide, do I want to shell that guy? Or do I want to shell the one with Archer on it and maybe kill Archer? Although he's not super stellar anyway. But he would give a B-rated guy a -2. I think we're going to fire at the 1st Tennessee. So we have 3 strength points at range 9. Does that even help me? Oh yeah, that's only 1 shift. So that puts us in the 1 column. There's no other target stuff. So I need an 8 or better. An 8 or better will get us some goodness. A 6. Okay. So they fired. God, I thought that was going to be so cool. So here's the weird part when you play this stuff like this, where you're playing both sides, is when he didn't launch, I was all like, dang it, dude, get going. Now he misses a shot. I'm like, come on, dude. So it's very weird. It's like, it's highs and lows all over the place, right? So here's the beauty. Even though I didn't move these guys after firing, if I would have seen a result, I could decide to move guys that I didn't move. But I'm not going to move any of these guys. I think I'm just going to leave it. I'm going to roll the beginning of the next turn to see if Reynolds can give an order. And I can give my my northern player an option to see if he wants to reissue an order. But then that's going to go through the regular channels where it goes based on the distance to his command. And then he has to issue that command to his subordinates and all that good stuff. So, oh, wait, we still got to move John Reynolds. Or John Burns, I mean. What do we want to do with John Burns? Let's put him up here with the 3rd Indiana. 1, 2, 3, boom. So let's put him there. He'll bolster the line until the infantry get there, and then I think historically I thought he fought with the Iron Brigade, but I could be wrong on that. All right, so that's it. I don't know. I had fun. I hope you did. I had so much fun, I only ate 1 out of the 4 cookies. That must mean it's pretty fun to ignore cookies. So, that's it. I'm going to find out for the next turn. I'm going to do some reading on some stuff coming up. But the board's going to start getting a little bit full because a lot of 3rd Corps is starting to show up. And we'll see how oh, you know what? I don't think I've been moving the turn track. And the reason I haven't is because I have it up in the title of the vassal file I keep making, so I haven't had to worry about it. I know, T. I know. That's the cat. She wants to go outside. Okay, so thanks for joining me, and we'll see you on the next video.